Feed me. Feed me more. Feed me more. Feed me more. Feed me more. The Ryback Show starts now. Welcome to the Ryback Show. I'm your host, the big guy Ryback. Happy Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see everybody. We're streaming live on Instagram and TikTok, the big guy RYBACK22. Thank you to everybody on those platforms, pulling in some big numbers on the TikTok platform, particularly on that. IG's not bad either. Not bad for the live views and then the views after. So thank you guys on both platforms on that. If you want to be part of this show, though, guys, the best way to watch live is on YouTube at RYBACK30. Super chats are greatly appreciated and brought up on the screen in between taking calls over here at Ryback on Twitter, guys, or X as it is now called on X. We're going to call it both. Twitter X is the name. I just can't. It's going to take a long time to transition to that. Twitter X over here on Spaces at Ryback, guys. If you want to call in live, be a part of this show, come on over to Twitter, make an account if you don't have one already. It takes only a moment or two. And follow me if you want, subscribe if you want. I do follow all subscribers back on Twitter, so thank you. We continue to grow on there. My Twitter subscribers, the loyal people, thank you very much on all of that. Guys, we're also streaming live on Facebook at Ryback Reeves and Twitch at Ryback Rules. This show's available on all podcast platforms. iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated. If you've got a moment to swing over there, guys, leave a star rating and write a review. Thank you very much. It helps us on the audio portion of this on the platforms over there. So thank you. This show is brought to you by Feed Me More Nutrition, my premium supplement line sweetened with stevia and monk fruit. No harmful artificial sweeteners or colors for all people, men and women, he, she, and thee. FeedMeMore.com. Right now you can save 20%. Discount code FEEDME20. 20% off. Discount code FEEDME20. FeedMeMore.com. Still a free shaker bottle with all orders. Premium shaker bottle, guys. Just selected as your free gift on that. FeedMeMore.com. We've got all the Ryback merch, the drinkware, the accessories, the ball caps, the workout accessories, and the best supplements on the planet. Hello. I'm sorry, yes, I did not play 2K23 on Sunday. I needed a day off, and I had to rest my voice. My voice has, from talking so much, I lost it a few weeks ago, and it was just a day off. I'm not particularly overly fond of the video games. I've told you guys that. I do think they're a pretty big waste of time in general. Whether I played them when I was younger, I wish my parents would not have let me. I think they're a waste of time on it. But I do have fun doing it from time to time and to interact with you guys. But it's not something I'm going to do all the time. But when I can do it and I have time, I will pop on and play a little bit. But I try to live in the real world as much as possible. And I like to get away on the weekends and not be constantly, I do this show 5 days a week, which is a lot more than we used to do it on that. And I have a lot going on and run a business. So it's not just something, that I'm going to do all the time. We're taking a look at some of the chats here. Good to see all of you guys. Everybody on TikTok, I appreciate you joining in. If you want to be a part of this show, go to Twitter at Ryback on Twitter Spaces. You can call in as people come in here and hit that request button to come on the show, and we'll get you on as we see. Take a look here. I don't understand where the sounds are coming from on this Twitter Spaces now. The sounds were never a thing before, and I'm sure it's a feature I've got to shut off. Probably I do delete the app off my phone quite regularly, though. And sometimes I do it more often than others, where I'll just use the buffer app and put out my tweets. And then I'll download if I need to see something. And I take it right back off my phone. Bring Autumn on. See if Autumn's here today. Hello. It looks like, I wonder, is there some issue going on at Autumn? I can't hear you again on there. I'm not sure what the situation is. I'm sorry. Maybe we'll try again. That happened yesterday too, though, right? So I don't know what that could be. Moving on. Bring in Devin. My Twitter X account has been very, very suppressed as of late, like getting very little interactions too. So I do hope we can get seen by some more people as the show goes on. Again, another caller off. Taking a look. Bring on Mark for a question. Mark, welcome to the Ryback Show.
Hey, Ryback, how you doing, bud?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, I got a question for you. When you go back to wrestling, are you still going to do your shows and your food reviews and stuff like that?
Yeah, everything. That's all. The days of the podcast might have to change a little bit, but this is all ongoing with everything. And then the feeding time,
Right.
even the feeding time, that's all. That's not going anywhere. I just might have to change like the days that I recorded, or so, depending. You know what I mean? Depending on what's going on at the time and whatnot. But yeah, none of this stuff is going away.
Right. Yeah. Because I can imagine. You'd be pretty busy.
Yeah, it just all depends. It'll depend on, I'm sure there's going to be weeks that are busier than others, and I've juggled a lot from the beginning, so it's I'm not. That's all it is just planning it out and setting aside a little time and knocking it out, and I'm pretty good with all that stuff. So it's pretty easy.
Right.
That's not a lot of that stuff too. Like the feeding time videos. That can actually, if I have to go on the road or do something, then there's huge opportunities to get other people on. That would be very easy. And, always have a rental car or whatever it is. That won't be, it will actually, it might even be easier with things because you can fit that stuff in your schedule as the week is going. So, or, say I'm back wrestling at the arena. It's something you could do at the arena,
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So that it opens up the possibilities of giving me more places to do the show. Actually, so I'm not even worried one bit about any of it.
Right. Yeah, I can see. Your viewership will pretty much skyrocket.
No, it won't unless I get my accounts fixed. I have to get my accounts fixed. It doesn't matter who you bring on when you're being suppressed. The numbers will go up a little, but they stop anything that starts taking off. So that's a problem that that's going to probably be on a legal end at some point in time.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy. This technology, I tell you.
Oh, I know. It's everything. It's tied in. What's going on isn't right. And I have a feeling a lot more is going to be exposed as time goes on. So.
Right. Oh, yeah. There'll probably be a lot of things, uncovered,
Oh, well, you can't keep hiding things in this day and age the way that they've done. And that's why a lot of the former CEOs of these companies stepped down and got away. And they're trying to wash their hands. Right. The problem is the dirt's going to follow them. So I hope they all get what they deserve for what they've done to me personally with it. So, and then I can't even imagine who else is affected by this.
Right. Yeah. It's not right doing that. That's pretty underhanded,
Oh, 1,000%. And that's why I think Vince is going to suffer greatly in his final days. I think his karma is coming to him. Yeah. I know the evil that lies inside of him, and what is coming to his days are not going to be good. And the process has started. His karma has started. So that's the truth. And that's not, this guy has done horrible things, not only to me, to a lot of other people. And he is a human being, and it is coming, and it's already started. But I think people like that do that and that think they're above everything else and go do these underhanded illegal tactics and things, that God always has a way of getting back at them eventually with it. And it will be a lonely, very down, hard period. So, and it's all kind of ironic. I've got my health back and everything is on the up and up. And on the other end, I don't care what his bank account says. Internally, that ship is sinking. So.
Right. Yeah. You can't take that money to
doesn't go anywhere with you when you're 6 feet under.
Nope. So. No. So, hey, so did Vince know you was hurt when you was wrestling?
Oh, all that is aware. They're aware of everything. Yeah. On all that, everything through the medical and all that stuff is reported back to them. They keep tabs on all that. And that wasn't injury, that was wrestling.
Right.
Usually there's things, but they're aware of everybody, what's going on. And like, as far as they get injury reports, how, that could change week to week, or how up to date they are on certain things, but they typically know who has what going on and whatnot. I mean, they have to track, like, the wrestlers that are getting Toradol and cortisone and all that stuff, and the different things that the athletic trainers and doctors all kind of, they track that stuff. They make notes. They have to kind of tally that stuff for the reports for the company and all that. So, I mean, now, is he looking at them every week? I couldn't tell you that much, but as an owner of the company, they typically, they're, from knowing what I know, that they were kept up to date on that stuff.
Right. Yeah, you don't send somebody to the ring that's not halfway there. You know what I mean? Or 80%, because they could re-injure that.
But I mean, pain and stuff is all part of the game, unfortunately. On that, it's like the NFL. Right. It's a very hard career. So none of that is, and I take full accountability on on the injury stuff and whatnot. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, you're a tough guy. You can take it.
Yeah. No, it's what you sign up for. But I had, my stuff was stemmed from, unfortunately, the bad surgery. It wasn't even from the day-to-day stuff as much. So, but I'm healthy now. Everything's good, and everything's on the up and up. So.
Right. Yeah. Sounds good. You can't wait till get back to the ring and tear it up.
Thank you very much, buddy. Well, I appreciate you coming on as always, Mark, and I hope you have a good one today.
All right. Okay, you too, Ryback.
Take care.
Good day. All right, you too, bud.
Thank you very much, Mark. Very cool. Taking a look here. Let me take a super chat real quick, and then we'll get on a new caller. I see Jimmy right here. Godly, thank you very much. Says Ryback, can you go back to WWE if you wanted to? It's not even on my radar of things to do, bud. I can't, no, I'm not going there. I know you guys, I can't make that any clearer to you guys on that. There's nothing. Hello. Welcome, Jimmy, to the Ryback Show.
Hey, man, what's up?
Not much. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. I just had I'm a massive wrestling fan. I watch all the promotions from WWE to New Japan.
Okay.
I just wondered if you had like a dream match with anybody at the minute. You've got your Ospreys and your
Goldberg.
Like, Goldberg.
Yes,
really?
That's the match that I want, because it will be the best story for me, for what I have laid out and the vision that I have, and it will be the best match that he's ever had.
No, for sure, man. That would kick.
You don't know, I know you don't. You guys don't have to believe that. That's my mindset going in with what I know and what he is a Hall of Fame legend, and he wants one last match though. And like, there's all the guys in the game right now. Everybody you mentioned are all amazing, and all of that. But a match is just a match. A match, though, is so much better when there is a story involved. And if I get an opportunity to tell the story that I want to tell for this Goldberg match, yeah, I think it's gonna open up a lot of people's eyes, what has been missing for a while. So, but that's and then down. Hopefully, if that works out, doesn't work out, we got to see. The current crop of talent. There's a lot of guys. Ricky Starks is one. Wardlow's another.
Oh, sure, man.
Ospreay and Kenny are two guys. And again, the story to me is, the match is already there. It's the story. What story could be put in place to make this even more interesting? And so that's where a little more thought would have to go into with guys like that. But which I think, and I've talked about this before, and I'm just giving you stuff off the top of my head. Things with like Kenny and Ospreay, I think the big thing would be, it would be challenging them to something, whether it's an Iron Man match or something where people would not believe that it could be possible. Something that would, everyone, it puts those guys on a pedestal of how great they are, and they are with it. And I think sometimes certain things are overlooked, particularly with me. So that would be an opportunity to tell a story, and maybe in a longer format. of something.
Yeah, for sure.
And then tell a story within that story. So then that's just off the top of my head. But yeah, guys like that, man, I think Will has done a fantastic job of he's much more on the radar now that he's performing over here and got some the shots with AEW and what him and Kenny did prior with everything. So and he looks, he reminds me of Mr. the guy from what's the Zoolander, Will Ferrell, is it Mr. Mugatu?
Yeah.
With the crazy hair. Like when I see him with that hair, like he looks like a character for, like, to me, in a good way. Like with that, like he stands out in today's wrestling with that. So I mean, yeah, we'll have to see though.
Hey man, all in's what, 3 weeks away? Fancy making a cheeky appearance for us UK fans?
Yeah, nothing's happening yet. I am locked down until I've got an announcement coming actually here, probably today or tomorrow, as far as the Stalker situation. And then once this thing is underway and I've got some security moving forward, we're going to try to get this Goldberg thing wrapped up and get me and Bill talking and see what we can do. So, but I can say that's not on the radar right now with everything.
Well, I wish you the best, man, and thanks for taking time to talk to me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Jimmy. Thank you for the great question.
Cheers, man.
Take care.
Look after yourself.
Thank you. Good deal. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Joel says Ryback versus Goldberg versus Rich Holland and Nia Jax as guest referee. I don't know anything about the other people but I can tell you I'm one of the safest pro wrestlers. And you guys, the fact that you believe otherwise is hysterical with it. So the people that know, and those that don't never will with it. But there's nobody more miserable than wrestling marks that complain about everything. And you guys read the dirt sheets from the people that, are mentally not all there. And unfortunately, you guys say a lot about yourselves when you read and process that stuff and then come out and share those same opinions from those same people. So it says a lot about you, Joel, of who you are as a human being and the suffering internally that you must deal with on a daily basis. And we're going to shell shock you out of Rybackville after that. Thank you very much. Joel is gone, ladies and gentlemen. Shawnee coming in hot early on today. I love that it bumps Shawnee right up to the top, too. Shawnee.
Big guy. Happy Tuesday, big guy. I just found out I'm Bam Bam Bigelow's fourth cousin separated from marriage.
Brother, when are you going to go get the flame tattoos on the skull? Have you trademarked anything yet? Bam, bam.
Bam Bam Jr. That's
Brother, I named my childhood dog. We had Pebbles, but we got another one, and I named him Bam Bam. But it was Pebbles and Bam Bam from the Flintstones. But Bam Bam, my sister liked it from the Flintstones. I liked it because Bam Bam Bigelow. I loved Bam Bam Bigelow when I was young. So
yep, I love that when you could do. So when I was younger, I don't know if you know about Newfoundland dogs. Have you ever heard of a Newfie?
No, you always teach me something though. Let's talk about Newfoundland dogs today.
Yeah, so I'm from Newfoundland. So when the potato famine happened in Ireland, a lot of Irish people moved down to Canada, and they basically lived in Newfoundland. So if you go to Newfoundland in Canada right now, it's all Irish people, right? Because they migrated down. And there's this type of dog that's from that area, and it's one of the biggest dogs. I'm telling you, just it's standing on its fours. It used to be taller than me as a 12-year-old.
Oh, man.
So think about how big that is, right?
Our neighbors had dogs like that, these dogs that were enormous. It was down the road from growing up.
Big guy?
They look like, they're the big, the what?
Were they black?
They black, and I think there was some different colors. They had the same breed all the time, and they had to keep them in a big cage in the back. But they got out every once in a while, and I was terrified because they were bigger. They were like horses.
Yes, so that's what they are. They're big horses. If you look them up after the show, just type in Newfoundland dogs, and they're the #1 family pet. They're the nicest, sweetest dogs, and they were ranked the #1 dog to have as a pet.
Really?
And Yeah, they're huge, big guy. Like I'm telling you, like they used to make jokes. Like my neighbors would say that the dog was walking me.
Yeah, those dogs. I was just so terrified. There were 3 dogs I was terrified as a kid. My neighbors 2 houses down, because I had my dogs were Labradors and a Lab pit mix. They were very friendly, loving dogs.
Yes.
But I always walked them and had them out. Like I was always afraid for them because, and I was younger and I was afraid I couldn't defend them against those dogs. It was Dobermans. My neighbors had these vicious Dobermans down the road.
Dobermans are scary.
Yeah, they Doberman pinchers, and they looked like killers. And the family,
and they have their ears cut, right?
Yeah,
like they have the ears like in the V.
Yep, and there were 2. I'm on TikTok, so there were 2 female detectives, Ellen DeGeneres types. I think I could say.
Got it.
Yeah,
Got
and they were detectives though, and like these dogs, like they just terrified me, and the barks, and my dogs were scared of them. And then my buddy, my best friend,
the detectives were the residents. They lived there.
They lived there, yeah. So they had these killer dogs. Like they were these female detectives, and for security, they had these killer Dobermans.
They had the dogs.
Yeah, and so I knew they were legit. Like I just knew, and they had like a special fence, and like I just knew, like as even as a young kid, I knew what was up.
Stay away.
Yeah, they didn't like people knocking on their door, anything. And then Rottweilers, because my friend had a Rottweiler, and he attacked me once. And he was really strong, and he ripped. I came over to you'll appreciate this, Kevin Salisbury's house. I had a brand new sweat from Target. When they'd come out with the new sweat clothes for the fall, I had a brand new like gray sweatsuit, like new sweatpants and the top, and like I was feeling fresh.
The matching set.
The matching set. I had my new shoes on. School was just back in and everything. I was feeling good, and I went over there on the weekend to go play some video games with Kevin Salisbury and the Rottweiler, and I was there all the time. But for this particular time, I don't know if he didn't like the sweatsuit or what, but he attacked me, and he ripped up all my sweat, like literally ripped up the whole thing, and I was just traumatized. So the Rottweiler, and then those big dogs that my neighbor had, I was just terrified because they were so big. That was like, man, if they got a hold of me, they would tear my arms off.
Yeah, it's crazy, people don't realize, but so Newfoundland, it's all Irish, right? So my family is from there. My dad comes home one day. I'm young. I'm probably like, I don't know, 8 years old probably. And he comes home and he's like, look, and all of a sudden a little puppy comes running out, the cutest puppy you ever seen in your life. A little thing could fit in my hands and everything. I'm so happy. Boom, boom, boom. My dad got it for cheap. We didn't know this at the time, but we didn't have a lot of money growing up. So my mom's like, where the hell did you get this? This is an expensive dog. Like these dogs cost thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So even back then they cost that much. So
which is a
I
lot.
Can't even imagine what they're like now. So my dad's like, oh, I got it for cheap. It was only a couple $100 in the paper, blah, blah, blah. That's when you could actually have classifieds in the paper and go buy stuff. And so he brings the dog home. The dog's fine, whatever. He's my best friend. He sleeps in my bed every night. He gets into this huge big dog. But he was very possessive. One time, there was 2 instances. One time he had drugged the garbage under our kitchen table, and I went without thinking because I'm like, he's my best friend. He's not going to bite me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I put my hand under the table to grab the garbage. He ripped my arm. I still have a scar today. It was so bad that the white fat was hanging out of my arm.
Oh,
that's how bad it was.
That's like the scene from Gremlins where the teacher goes to feed the gremlin.
Yes, it's exactly like that, big guy. You're exactly like that. So then the second time, my friend Michael Carew was over, and we were in the basement, and the dog was upstairs. We never had him near. He wasn't not friendly, but he was very protective of us in general. Yeah. So we just kept him away when people came over. And my friend Mike was downstairs. We were playing video games, and we were all riled up because we were playing video games. I was beating him or something.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, I hear and it's the sound of Torbay, which is the dog's name. whatever. It was the town that my family's from.
Oh, I thought you said sorbet, like the ice cream.
No,
Oh.
no, Torbay.
Okay.
That's it. So Torbay, he comes running down the stairs. I see him in the corner of my eye, and I hear him, and I'm like, Mike, like I just got into like instinct. I had like a laundry room in my basement. I was just able to push him into the laundry room, and he bit me right in my face trying to go
Jeez.
for my friend. And we found out that the dog was an inbreed, and that's why he was so unfriendly.
That's why your dad got it for $200.
Got it for cheap. Exactly. He was. These people were breeding with his sisters, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And my parents, they never told me they put him down. They still deny this to this day, big guy. They sent me a postcard saying that he was living on a farm. And I swear, I remember this so distinctly. And my dad and my mom were like, no, we never did that. And I was like, I'm telling you, you sent me a postcard saying that he was on a farm somewhere.
What?
Yet you guys put him down.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they didn't want to make me feel bad, big guy. So they said he went to a farm. Meanwhile, he went night-night.
Farm in the sky? Yeah.
Yeah, he went to the...
Oh, man. I don't even...
Yeah,
that's
man,
so sad, but that's...
Don't let it put you down.
I get sad with the animals. I want to get your parents. I want a confession on this at least. I would not be able to let my parents. I would hound them literally.
I was crying, man. I said, please, because I knew it was gonna happen. And then he's like, my dad's like, Shawnee, we gotta take him. You know, we gotta get rid of him. I wasn't thinking in my head as an 8-year-old. I was like 12 by then. I was like, why are you taking him? Like, he's like, we gotta let him go. We can't have this happening. Like, what if we don't have no money as it is? If your friend wants to sue us, what happens then?
It could become a liability. You know? It's like that's kind of. It's funny though. Like it's kind of like your dog was Torbay kind of reminds me of wrestling Marks. That like there's something that he had just he wanted to live a normal happy life, but there was just something mentally wrong, and he would snap. And that kind of explains why like these wrestling Marks go off the deep end. They want to try to be good normal, but they like their brains are wired all messed up wise, and then they just attack viciously.
Oh my God.
That's the new name. When I don't want to call people Marks, I'm going to call them Torbay.
Yo, oh my God, big guy. I don't think people appreciate how funny you are. Honestly.
I mean, I don't. I'm hit or miss at times, but
it's so funny. Like every day I laugh. Like I look forward to the show because I know I'm gonna laugh.
By the way, I appreciated you hopping in on the thing. I unblocked Val Venis yesterday for the people listening.
I saw.
So Val Venis, Sean Morley, I met him in WWE because I grew up watching him like everybody else and always liked him. Yep. And he was backstage in Phoenix, Arizona in 2012. It was either a live event or a TV. I can't remember. It might have been a live event, but we were in Phoenix. And he was there with his daughter, I believe, his young daughter. But he stopped and we had a really nice conversation. And he asked for a photo with him and his daughter. And I think his daughter was like a big fan. And, I was red hot at the time and like very nice, positive interaction. And then when I left WWE and I wrote the pay scale blog, which completely got taken out of context and it turned into the whole thing of everyone. Like it was on the pay scale being how off it was in pro wrestling. And there was a lot to it. And I'd asked a question, why isn't there equal pay in wrestling? It was a question. It wasn't a statement on it, but it was to get people talking about all the other things I'd pointed out of how there were all these, like just these huge gaps between pay on different things and how in wrestling, it doesn't make as much sense in other things. But it was never for equal pay across the board. But so if people only read the dirt sheets, they would think it was on for equal pay. But if you actually read it, you would know that it wasn't about that.
The other stuff.
Yeah. And so, but he like must have just read the dirt sheets and then reacted on Twitter. I remember I was getting some hate from different people, and I just blocked and just keep going on. I'm not going to argue with everybody all day long, especially if I know that they're reading dirt sheets and so he must have read dirt sheets, but he'd called me a simpleton and had like resorted to name calling and like yeah, and I'm like okay. But he failed to mention that in his tweet yesterday when he put out a thing like that. Clearly, still though, all these years later, he's still talking about it, that he got blocked but that I wasn't a real man because I didn't debate. And I'm like, we're going to talk about all this when he comes on, and like I'm going to point out the same things that I just pointed out to you. And then I was like, there's nothing to debate because my stance, I guarantee you, he's going to agree with me everything that we talked about, as usually people do when we talk about things. But he was misinformed. But I go. And I just like, so we'll see. I got to respond back to him because he says he's busy during the week and that on the weekends. But I may do a special weekend Ryback show just so we could dedicate a show to him and get him on.
Amazing, man.
But that's good. Yeah. I got along great with him before, but I'm just like, the problem, I'll tell you, and I'm going to tell him this when we talk. The problem, and this is just like me, if I'm doing my show now, it's like if there's a guy, say Jungle Boy, who I follow, I met him at WrestleCon, very nice, but I don't really know him, right? Say, though, I come on here and I just start talking a bunch of trash about Jungle Boy and just disrespecting him, right? So he's probably not going to want to interact with me or have any, or like, he's not, I'm not, why should he respect me if I'm disrespecting him? So here's the problem. And I think I'm very good at not doing this. And I think I'm one of the only ones that doesn't do this, but it somehow people want to turn things all we got to give respect to get respect oftentimes, but just because if you were in the business before people, whether we leave or get fired or no matter what the situation, if we're no longer involved or we're doing other things, though, if we love the business or like the business or we've met people, like I say, I've met Jungle Boy, I met him at WrestleCon, and like say though, I go on Twitter though and call him you blah, 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 and call him some disrespectful name for no reason. And then he blocks me. Why should he want to talk to me when, like, if I had an issue or something that he did something, why wouldn't I just DM him or try to message him privately? But instead, the problem is, and these are what the guys don't realize, he was trying to get one over on me on social media by something that he read dirt sheets. So he exposed himself on it by reading dirt sheets and not just actually reading the whole thing in the content and name calling on somebody that he met and took a photo with him and his daughter and was very nice. Within, like, I go, that's where I go.
The way you worded it, I see. The thing is, like, people aren't smart enough, but I can picture myself in your shoes.
Yeah.
And I read it the way that you wrote it. You were like, I took a picture for you.
Yes. Oh, I was there. Yeah. No, you read that correctly. I was reminding him. He came up to me with his daughter and asked me for a photo with it. I didn't go up to him, and I just wanted to remind. And I go, we had a very nice interaction with this, but I'm not afraid of like confrontation or people. Like, I'm the nicest guy in the world, but I'm not going to put up with BS and lies. And I'm like, you just went on social media and disrespected me public. That wasn't making light of some situation. That was you trying to get over on me. And then you got upset and hurt that I blocked you. And I'm going to treat you like a mark if you're going to talk like that. Like with that, if you're not.
How come a guy in the business like you think a guy in the business would be smartened up to the dirt sheets, right?
But that's what gets me. All these guys don't. They read and react off of it rather than taking the minute and go, wait, maybe I should go look at it before I respond. And like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Even DM you like, hey, what's going on? Like, I saw this. Like, like I saw this headline. Like, I don't really agree with it. Can you tell me what's going on? Like, and I'm sure, like, you reach out to you take your time for everybody. I can't imagine you not sending a voice message or something, just explaining it up in 1 minute.
1,000%. That's where I'm at. Where I go, okay, this isn't even worth my time. Whether if you're playing at that level playing field, like it's not even, I'm just like, but it's a disrespect thing. And oftentimes people, when we're done with the business or that, and people come into it and this is where I speak up on the issues with the business that bothers me. Wrestlers shouldn't be going at each other. But what happens is guys, whatever happens in their careers, and I'm not saying anything with him in particular on this, I'm talking in general. The guys, after they're done with the business, rather than speaking up and actually trying to unite on problems with the business to make it better, they're upset that they had to deal with the things that they went through and whatnot. And so it's kind of like, oh, we'll leave them to be, or like they try to get over on younger talent by saying something and looking cool here and there on that. But it's like, Why? If you haven't, like, we met each other and had a brief interaction and it was positive, you don't act like that. And especially if you're an adult or a man, like, and so I was like, I go, hey, come on. That's like the Booker thing. And he was the one, he backed out. He got scared. He didn't want that conversation. These guys can come on any point in time, by the way. Everyone has access to this show. There's a reason that these people aren't doing it with it. But I'm glad. I wanted to see. He said he's busy Monday through Friday, though. But I'll make an exception to get him on the show to talk, because it's just like, I'm not going to make time for this stuff all the time. But I was like, these are things like when people like that, he's going to realize. Yeah, that's important. It's silly. But if more wrestlers though, in like talked about this stuff and helped, my people in my generation from the developmental, and guys like him might not realize we were discouraged and told not to have agents. They were in WWE, had a stronghold and a strong grip on the industry. There weren't a lot of other competitors to go to, and so they strong-armed all the developmental talent, and they instilled fear in all of us on getting agents and told us not to negotiate different contracts and don't rock the boat, don't ask for different things, or they would just go on to another person. People don't realize what this company, what they've been building and doing for the last 20 years on this stuff. And so when I left, I made the decision. I go, I'm going to learn how to make money on my own, and I'm going to speak up about all these problems, even though I actually broke through and made a lot more money than a lot of guys. I'm speaking up for everybody else that I'm leaving for, like with this. And I go, so it makes me upset when other wrestlers then chime in like that and go, you're a simpleton, rather than read and actually talk about the problems in the business that can make it better for young people getting in and the people there. For everybody else. Yeah. And that's where I get furious over. I'm like, what are you doing with this? I'm not the bad guy.
I think you're very misunderstood, and I think that's why I get along with you so well, because I've been misunderstood my whole life as well. And like from all my friends that I talk to, like it's a very mixed feelings about you, and I think the ones that I've spoken to, and I do stick up for you. I don't know you that well, obviously, but I know you from our conversations, and I think I know nothing but you being a passionate person that just doesn't want someone else to have to go through what you've gone through. And I think that you're fighting for that, and I think that like instead of wrestlers fighting the fight, it's easier for them just to be like, no, I'm just going to ignore it, because what if I get put into that box?
That's exactly.
And they're scared.
Yeah. And a lot of these guys, though, too, that have the negative feelings are just simply going off of dirt sheets.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, well, how do you know this? Like, have you spoken to him? Like, have you watched? No, I just, I've seen things on, in the internet. And I'm like, yeah, that you just said it right there. Like, people call it, like, I know, like, I don't get into politics, but I never heard Trump called a racist before he ran for president. As soon as he ran for president, every outlet was like, oh, Trump is racist. I live in New York. Do you know that Trump owns and gives back to the black community in general more than any other community in New York? He owns most of the projects in New York. And he had pictures with Oprah and all these, famous black people, and yet they're calling him racist. It's just an example of the way that they're doing to you.
It's that same thing, but just in the world of pro wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
That's what I realized. That it's like what they did with Rogan with CNN. They tried to make him paint him, and they try to do. And this is what
crazy.
They try to discredit you, and they put out all these lies to get people to try to look at and discredit you, so that your word doesn't hold as much power. So this is exactly, they've tried to discredit me with the fake articles, and then they've suppressed me heavily so that my word and my reach I don't have the reach that I should have with it. And the lies are getting further than my reach. The problem is, as I keep fighting, and I've gotten through way further than I should have. So I've been able to keep it balanced far more than it should have been. If I would not have fought this, though, it would have been overwhelming the amount of people against me with this, because they would have not have had all of this to go by. So anybody that follows and listens will have the opinion of following and listening, of knowing much more of the facts of the situation, of what's going on, or at least being able to look at it a little more. Wait a second, I could see this going on and whatnot. But like people that don't, and they just read that, it's there's a huge gap. It's like either one end or the other.
Yep, I know Jesse the Body is a little bit crazy, and I know that
Yeah.
he believes in like crazy stuff, and he's like an extreme. But don't tell me that Hogan didn't rat on him trying to unionize, because
Yeah.
I know I would bet my life on it that Jesse was trying to unionize, and Hogan was like, I'm getting paid more than everybody here. I don't want that to happen because then I have to get equal pay. Like, I know
Yeah.
that happened for a fact. Hogan lies more than anybody in the business.
And I don't know,
If
you know, I wasn't there during that period. I've heard that same story.
I know.
But I try to look at it fairly too. But that's why Vince and them have kept that inner circle. They keep just enough people where they make enough money, where then it's very difficult to get everybody on board, because if you've got like 8 or 10 people making great money, and then the rest of the people are this huge gap, not making all that great of money for all the work that they're doing and everything with it, that then it's going to make those 8 to 10. They're going to, why would we give up what we're this? Nothing's really going to change for us, except for we have the possibility of possibly losing everything with it. That's where.
And those big stars have the most pull on the fans.
But this is where in WWE,
okay,
I had broke through and had enough pull to where I had a high enough level that if I had a voice. This is why they're doing what they're doing with me. The problem is it's not going to go away. The moment that's why I realized I go get my health back, my star is going to shine brighter than it's ever shined before with all of this. They know this though. With it, but that's what they're trying to disrupt with everybody, to try to change this perception. That's not true. I go, you cannot destroy energy with it. I have the energy. I am the one. Like, they can't destroy it. I just had to get my health back. I fought through this with all of it with it, but I know what I hold. I know the power that I hold with this. But that's why I get mad though when I'm talking. That's why I get mad at other wrestlers when other wrestlers do this, because I'm like, you guys are the problem. You know, this is why Booker and these guys go, you guys are the problem. You guys are fearful of your legacy and everything, are getting blackballed. And so you take your little paychecks. They don't want to lose
that Legends check.
Yes. And you zip it up, and nothing ever changes with this. And I go, we have a major problem and more people need it. But the thing is I went through enough things that pushed me over the edge where I don't care. Where I go, I'm going to fight for what is right. And that's where the misunderstanding is with a lot of people that think it's like on a creative end. It's not with it, but I have the power. That's the difference. I have the energy and I have the power and I have the belief in myself, and I'm never going to quit with it. And I'm going to win. I've won everything thus far, but like, I will not back down from these little few handful of wrestlers that come out of the woodwork with this, because I know what I'm fighting for. And the goal is stronger than any fear of rejection or failure or anything along the way. So
I've never seen you come out and your music hit, but that day that I see you come out, wherever it may be, I'm gonna go absolutely ape. I'm gonna run through every wall in my house, big guy. I'm so happy for you that day, man.
Oh man, no,
there's gonna be a big Kool-Aid guy in my house. Oh yeah.
Oh, hopefully we got to get that stevia Kool-Aid for Shawnee. Get that stevia Kool-Aid.
Yes, exactly. But big guy, one question before I go.
You got it.
And I'll mute myself. What is the most I guess not embarrassing, but what's the worst date you've ever been on in your life?
The worst the worst date.
Yeah. The worst date, like, what's the most like? Did you ever have like a bad date in Vegas with somebody, or?
Yeah, I'm trying to. So I'm going to tell you one story that was with the girl I ended up being with for about 3.5 years, the ex-girlfriend that I was with during my time in WWE. This was early on in the relationship, and she came over. I made a big protein shake before she came over, because we were. It was a Netflix and chill sort of night on my day and a half home from the road. And we'd been going out for a bit already with things, but it was very early on in the relationship. And I made a huge protein shake, and you know, she's smoking hot. Like, I mean, she's like smoking hot Latina, like just drop dead gorgeous. And I was on a garlic kick though. I was eating garlic bulbs, and I was only home for like a day and a half, and I was like, oh, I've got all this garlic. I don't want it to go bad. And I go, oh, I'll just put it in the shake. I'm just going to consume all this garlic. And it was like a few hours before she was going to come over. So I'm thinking like, oh, I'll be fine. And it wasn't like a ton, but it was enough. And so I blend the garlic up into this protein shake. Whatever it was that I did, I ate this huge amount of garlic. So we're on the couch watching Castaway with Tom Hanks. And we'd never seen the movie. And we've got a blanket over us. And my stomach, I noticed my stomach is starting to get really uneasy. And I'm just like, oh man. But it wasn't like I had gotten up and I went and pissed. And I didn't have to go yet. And but something was definitely off. So it's just getting worse, and my stomach is like getting protruded. And I'm like, it's like I'm at that stage of the relationship where I hadn't let any loose yet,
You hadn't let it loose.
Yeah, I hadn't burned that bridge yet.
Yeah.
And so we've got the blanket over us, and I go, I've got this blanket, and I go, if I just let it out like really slow and just hold it, like kind of control it, and like because my stomach, so I started letting them out. And I'm able to get them out without her hearing. I'm like letting them out at the perfect points in the movie. This blanket is doing a hell of a job. It was a UNLV blanket. Whoever made this blanket had it fart secured beyond the smell was not coming out of the blanket. So I'm getting pretty cocky with the situation. Like it's going on for a bit. I'm like, oh, I could let this loose. She said no clue. Like enough time had went by. Well, finally, my stomach, I couldn't control it anymore. And I was like, well, I go, she's either gonna stay or she's gonna leave. I was like, I can't, I couldn't, and they just started roaring, just coming like, and the blanket comes up, Shawnee. I did that video on social media of the girl with the farts in the microwave where I pass out. The look of disgust on her face when that fart cloud hit her from under the blanket of like 15 or 20 minutes of just garlic farts building up under this heavy UNLV blanket. And brother, she was so disgusted and mad at me, but she ended up staying. She didn't leave. She understood.
Bro, that's a trooper, bro. That's why
Yeah.
you stayed with her for those years.
Yeah, and
Oh
she
my God.
3.5 years, man. But she and I didn't do that. I never like would you do that kind of stuff. And she understood, like, oh, I ate all this garlic.
Of course, yeah.
Oh.
That was great.
Brother, all night though, all night long, all in my sleep. I'm in my sleep apnea mask, just farted on her all night. She stayed. God bless her.
And she loved it.
I think deep down, I think that might have been where she fell in love with me.
I think so, bro.
When they're that hot, they're not used to guys farting on them. I'm telling you that, and I think that.
Bro, you're right. Sometimes you just gotta fart on them.
Assert your dominance on them. Like what other guys? Those losers aren't going to fart on you.
Bro, I'm literally laughing so hard my cheeks hurt, bro. Oh man, big guy, thanks for having me on as always, and have a great Tuesday, man.
You too, Shawnee. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate
Later,
it.
Man.
Take care. Shawnee, you get some good stories out of me, Shawnee. You ask those are the kinds of questions, those off the wall, not asking me for the 1000th time, like, hey, what was your favorite match ever? Like, we all hear that all the time. Tell us your worst dating experience. That takes a little bit of thought. Shawnee coming through with the tough questions. Super chat, Atlanta Sports with Silt. Ryback, I saw you when you started in NXT. I loved your passion with the takeover versus WWE, and I respect what you were doing. Love the food reviews and have a fun summer. Go beat Goldberg. Sleeta, thank you very much, brother. Appreciate the super chat, and that is the goal. I've got a big announcement coming. I guess maybe I can go ahead and share this with you guys at the update on Brandon Chase Salehi with everything. Since we're doing the show, I just got an update from the detective. As you guys know, this has all been ongoing with everything and been very frustrating on numerous ends. It took a little bit of time. It took a little bit of time because the FBI was involved, and the good thing was that they were involved and they got a confession with all of this. And then they had to make a decision if they were going to pursue federal charges or if it would be better to turn the information over to the state detectives and let them pursue state charges. And that was between those people, and I gave my input. And the federal charges would be drawn out and could take a long time. The state charges are very swift and very quickly. So I'm going to explain to you guys what's happening here. And as we know, our buddy's probably watching. He might have already been informed. If not, you're being informed now. So they just put in for the arrest warrant for aggravated stalking. So that sentence, state, just so you're aware, and I put that on Twitter, the minimum sentence for aggravated stalking, which we already have a confession for and everything, guys, is 2 years. The maximum sentence is 15 years, and I believe a $5,000 fine as well with that. So what we are going to be doing is this is now being turned over to the DA, the district attorney's office. And I've worked with the sergeant also that was very kind and very good with all of this with me, with everything, and making sure that the DA understands the severity of this issue. The sergeant has also dealt with a stalking situation he knows, and he has listened to enough where he knows what we are dealing with this. So what we are going to do is it gets turned over to the DA. Chase is made aware, will be made aware very shortly that he's going to be prosecuted here with everything, and we're going to do everything in our power to get him extradited, and he hopefully get him the maximum sentence. Hopefully get him 15 years. Now that's up to the DA, and we're going to have to see that they've got a lot of evidence, all the things that he was doing prior, after the FBI after the FBI had came over and he confessed and said he was never going to have anything, and he continued to harass me and continues to online with hundreds of accounts that he's made since. Having the Twitter files showing thousands of accounts, we have the information to get this guy locked up for a long, long period of time with this. And just so I chase, because you probably won't get to hear me too much more, bud. So I gave you a little bit of attention up front because I knew you probably weren't used to dealing with attention, and made the show names after you and really made you think you were something really special, and then cut it all away with this. And you kind of, you were afraid to come on, but you wanted to kind of come on because you're so crazy and couldn't control yourself. So, buddy, game over. Welcome to Rybackville. And we're going to see what state prison they send you to here. Probably Ely, Nevada. There's a state prison with everything once this is all said and done. It might be a few hundred miles away, but buddy, I'm going to make the trip and come see you, and I'm going to get one-on-one time with you. So you haven't seen the last of me, Chase, with everything, but go ahead, buddy, put up a fight, do whatever you want to do. You're just going to make things better for us all now. And but that you wanted an update. There's your update, ladies and gentlemen. This is very real. This has been real from day one. Anyone that has said it was anything other, you are horrible human beings, and you deserve everything that you get in life with everything. So that's where that stands right now, though, with everything. And the ball is now rolling. We had a hold up for a while with the FBI. Like I said, they had to decide. They were waiting on the Twitter files because they wanted to see what route we were going to go. And the state charges are more severe. So with everything. So thank you for all the love and support with everyone. This isn't over yet. But we now it is official with it. And Ryback rules. What you gonna do, little Chase? Huh? Doesn't pay to be I'm not even gonna say we're on TikTok. We're done. But there's your update with everything. I'll make sure I put one on Twitter later so everybody is as well aware of the situation with that. But your little Jordan Garcia, your Layla Kent account pretending to be the female online, brother, game over. You've literally, we played you like a fiddle. We got everything out of you that we needed to get out of you. And you dug your own grave with all of this. So, and it's time to pay the piper. Be a man, do your time. And we'll see if you're able to hang in there. But those podcasts are going to be sent over to the state prison as well. And they're going to be made aware, everybody in there, how you talk about women and dogs and the threats. And a lot of people's favorite wrestler, buddy, especially when I'm back. Maybe I'll come back and bring the championship when I got it to you over there. Maybe if you're lucky, I'll let you. Nah, I don't want your hands on it. But, maybe we could do a feeding time from outside the cage, whatever you keep you in there, like the little pathetic little animal that you are with that. But that alone time, that one-on-one time, we'll make sure that's not behind bars because that is coming. I'm going to do everything in my power to get that one way or the other. So enjoy. I'm glad you got everything out. Got it all. Hope you got it all out of your system with it. But hey, don't run, buddy. Don't run. Don't you dare. Don't do it. Don't do it. Be a man. Do your time. And I'll be making that announcement when we have more info. But shame on all the wrestling sites that didn't cover this as actual factual news with it. Shame on the one that did and made light of it. And any of them that said this was a publicity stunt, on shame on you, all of you. You guys are all pathetic human beings, and you deserve all that you get. So, all right, let's keep it moving. Bring on John. John, welcome to the Ryback Show.
Thank you again, sir. Appreciate you having me on here again with you.
What's on your mind today?
Oh, actually, it's been a really awesome day, actually. Can't complain. I'm talking with the big guy Ryback, and I love your passion, man. You're truly a motivational, inspirational person.
Thank you.
The passion you have for making, the way that you show how you're gonna fight for the truth and you're not gonna stop until you get where you want to be is inspiring to a lot of people that don't necessarily have that same fight, and it can inspire them to want to do that. So I applaud you, man. Again, just as I said before in the past, you're truly an inspiration to a lot of people. So
thank you.
I applaud you, and it's awesome.
I greatly appreciate it, and that's all. I get angry when I see the opposite put out on things, when I know the truth of the situation, and with that, and I get disappointed in people are so easily can be led down the wrong path and believe lies. But it's like, it motivates me to just I got to be louder, and I know, because I know what I'm fighting for. So, and I know if I don't keep going on it, then nothing's going to be done. So it's just, I want the goal, like I said, you just got to want the goal more than the fear of rejection or failure, or anything along the way that might try to put a stop to it.
Absolutely. And, at the end of the day, I'm not going to give him the satisfaction to even mention his name, but, you're going to have people like that, and real recognizes real. The truth always comes out in the end, no matter, Christ, they're even trying to say that, they might have found who got Pac, it's 30 years later, and here they are still talking about it, and they reopened an investigation on it. I mean, it's crazy how things so many years later can come out truth, and at the end of the day, that's when the haters are going to have to sit there and swallow it and say, oh, damn. It's really sad that people got to be like that. But I actually did have one question for you. Obviously, man, you're a huge superstar. You're a celebrity, and a lot of people absolutely love you. Who is somebody? I obviously, you had Broken Brawler on your show. You wrestled with him.
Yep.
His last match, amazing. You've had Arnold. Who is somebody that you still to this day would kind of almost geek out over, if you actually had the chance to meet them?
Well, I've gotten to meet Arnold. I'll tell you, I really would love to have Arnold on the podcast. That is a goal. It will happen at some point with that. I think that just to have a nice conversation with him and see where it goes. That would, because he's really played a big role of my mindset over the years, and just how he's led his life, with that.
Right.
But as far as not got it, who have not met yet, that, brother, I don't know. Arnold's at the top. I've met him though, but I haven't really got to actually, having him on the show would be really big. Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is one, man. I really Tony Robbins, Joe. Even Joe Rogan is another. Joe's just living his life, but I've seen Joe so much. I feel like I know him a bit just from the shows and the UFC and all that. But Tony Robbins,
he's an open book.
Yeah, Tony Robbins though is very. His books helped me very early on, and he's such an inspirational, motivational guy. And what really in his story, he had to overcome adversity at different points and things where I feel like in life you got to have sometimes bad things happen to you to make you be a certain way that can inspire good in other people, where you've been hurt so badly that it pushes you to want to wake others up, or to want to make other people's lives better, that sometimes, unless we've had that happen, we can't understand it. He's really, man, his inspiration and motivation from within really inspires me. So I'd say Tony Robbins.
That's awesome. And, it's funny that you just said that exactly how you did, because I actually I've been through some things in my own life that, especially in the last 5 years, that really changed. I can't say I was a bad person. I was never a bad person, but back in 2018, on July 18th of this year, July 18th of 2018, I was in a house fire, and I flatlined in the medevac. I was on fire for 5 minutes.
Oh my God!
Doused in gasoline after working on a motorcycle, and I flatlined for a minute and a half. I spent the first 12 hours in Syracuse upstate burn unit with a 107-degree fever. They said I shouldn't even be here based on the extent of my injuries, but here I am, and I'll tell you, man, when something like that happens to you. You find so many different ways of looking at things, and life just takes on a whole new role. And I do a lot more on TikTok. I'm starting to get into Twitter a little bit more and doing a little more on YouTube. But the big thing is it's so easy to just pop something in quick. I go around to a lot of my friends and followers on TikTok. Just all I do is it's copy and paste for simplicity. But I simply put, hey, in case no one told you today, you're worth it. Never settle for less than best because you do deserve it. The Constitution says every man, and I'm going to paraphrase, and woman has the right to the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yep.
That's every human's basic right, and that should never be taken away from anybody.
I agree, and I think that's a good thing that you do with that. It's, man, like social media, it can really. I talk to enough people and have enough interactions with people, and like I said, I think this stuff is great, the technology too and everything, but it really, we have to limit ourselves also. I think the more that we have real conversations and live in the real world as much as possible, or if we can use social media but try to use it for good as much as possible, it really can have a positive impact on our life. But like I see like in people I know and different girls I know or people that get burnt out on it, it's because we are exposed to a lot of hate and negativity on there. And that's where I say it's good to just take breaks from it and distance ourselves and live in the real world and touch grass and then use it sparingly with that. But it's good what you're doing as far as putting positive comments, because there's just so much trash on there with people on that stuff. So it's good just to try to spread positivity and happiness as much as possible. Because all it takes is one person reading that, and it could change. That could have a real impact.
It's funny you said that, because that's how you know it's truth, because you just said exactly what I was going to say. At the end of the day, even a smile. You're walking through the store, you see somebody that just looks down, you give them a simple little smile, a little hand wave or a head nod. Just that acknowledgement of their existence could literally save their life, and you don't even need to know that you did it or that it helped them that much. It's just doing the right thing and being a decent human being, And when I do pop that into people's comments and in their lives and stuff like that, I've had so many people say that to me, wow, man, hey, I really appreciate you coming through and saying that. I didn't realize how much I needed to hear that right now. That really just touched me. And it's, that I'm not doing it for clout. I'm not doing it. It's just, again, with what I've been through in life, in 2011, me and my wife, we lost our firstborn son at 2.5 months old due to severe heart complications. It's one of the most horrible things that somebody could ever go through. And, it's something that we live with every day.
Yep.
It's something that doesn't get any easier. And there's people that'll say, oh, I understand. And they say they understand with all the greatest intention in the world, but it's so hard to actually truly understand. You can sympathize.
Yeah.
And I appreciate anybody that ever tries to, sympathize with that, because it's, again, not something I believe anybody should ever have to go through. But again, it's just a simple smile, a simple acknowledgement of somebody's existence. You never know what it'll do for their life. And, because of social media, like you said, man, I'll tell you, I remember when you debuted, and I was so stoked for you, man. I mean, it was awesome watching you. And I'm blessed to be sitting here having a conversation with you. I mean, I never in a million years would have thought that had happened. And here I am, man. It's friggin' amazing what the technology we have today. I've been blessed to have conversations with Ivan Moody from 5 Figure Death Punch. He's been in my lives. He followed me back on TikTok. A couple of the guys from SOA. Actually, today I shared a video on my Twitter where I was in the hospital from the fire, and my brother-in-law drove 4 hours to go to a convention where Kim Coates, David LaBrava, Tommy Flanagan, and Mark Boone Jr. So for those that don't know, Chibs, Tig, Bobby, and Happy. He went there, and they all four got on a phone call to talk to me. And I posted that, man, and Kim Coates reposted it, and David LeBron stuff like that. The fact that it allows us to interact with these people that we look up to, we aspire to potentially be, or they just made an impact on our life. The fact that we have that ability now is just absolutely fantastic. Whereas, back even 5 years ago, we didn't necessarily have that same technology and that ability.
And it's just too with you got to be. There's the positives outweigh the negatives, but too, like you brought up a couple things. But what we are exposed to, though, is there are a lot of unhappy people that are not happy, and we just don't understand that leave a lot of hateful, negative comments. And it's really easy for people to kind of think that like a lot of people are like that, even though there are a lot of people online like that. But not everybody in real life and in the real world is like that. But just trying to have positive interactions rather than, because I feel like this social media things is close. It can bring people closer together than ever. But it can also push us further apart than ever with it, depending on how we choose to use it. And so I just think it's good to try to have positive interactions and show, because like a lot of young people don't know they're on this, and like they're raised in negative environments and they're just around negative, hateful things, and they conduct themselves in negative, hateful ways. And then there's a lot of adults that do the same thing on this stuff on here. And it's not a reflection though of how you should act in the real world or how most people do act in the real world with it. And so, and I do think a lot of things are going to change as time goes on with this technology, which is going to have to with AI coming along. And like, there's going to have to be we're going to have much more rules and regulations somehow with this and how people conduct and act and whatnot. But you're doing a good thing, man. And like you said, we can never understand. It's like, this is a different situation. I can never ask you guys to understand my injuries, what I've gone through, and like the hours of rehab. And like, I was on my golf ball for 7 hours yesterday, all throughout the day on working on my shoulder, breaking up scar tissue from the morning, afternoon, and night. Like I did a really heavy session, and that wasn't just straight on the golf ball. That was like working on it, let it rest, work on it, let it rest. But it was a lot of time. And I just tell myself, I go, nobody's ever going to really understand, even though I've kind of documented little things and told you guys about it. Nobody's really going to actually know and understand what I've had to do to get myself healthy to come back with it. But you can try to understand, but unless you've actually, you can't comprehend like spending the amount of hours that I have on the determination, like I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to go do that. I'm going to keep doing one day at a time and get this better for years on years and years. People just can't, unless you've done it, you don't get it with it. But people can try to understand. It's the same. Like, so I know where you're coming from with that. I could tell you all day long, I'm sorry. And I understand, but I don't understand because I didn't experience it with it. And it's
right. Exactly. Unless you had that exact same experience. I'm hearing you talk about it. Cause I follow you, man. And it's, seeing the videos you posted of your treatments and stuff like that, the stuff you go through to get yourself back to 100, it's cringing to watch because, again, I don't know what you're going through. I don't know the feeling you have. The sensation in my body is going to be different from yours. If I pinch you and if somebody pinched you and then pinched me, the exact same amount of strength, your nerves are different than mine. Yeah. Everybody's bodies are different. So I can sit here and say, hey, man, I'm sorry you got to go through that. I can't imagine because I can't because I'm not you. Yeah, and that's
exactly right. But I've let that go. I just go, but I know like the work, and it's like I know it's going to be worth it for the outcome that I want. But all we could try to just do is understand people.
I want to leave you with, if
please
you have a minute when you get a second.
Yep.
There's a skit called "We All Struggle." It's by a gentleman by the name of Clayton Jennings. And I find that to be the most true statement in the world because no matter how much money you have, no matter how much family, friends, you can have everything in the world. Everybody struggles with something.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, you'll never necessarily know because we all have a certain level of facade that we put on when we're on social media or
absolutely
when we're in public. And that skit there, if you ever get a minute, it's only about 2.5 minutes long. I'll tell you, man, for the last 5 months or so, I've listened to that every single morning just because it hits different. And with what you're going through, yeah, you're the big guy. Everybody sees you. You're inspirational. You stay so positive with all the negative. But I'm sure that at the end of the day, there's still those times where even you go, wow, man, do I keep going? And that skit right there, if you ever get a chance, like I said, to hear that out, man, I think it'll help. I think that'll give you that little extra inspiration as well.
I love
really
it.
Need it because again, you're awesome.
No, thank you.
So,
I can tell you too, though. I've never once ever. I already know, like I've never once questioned ever giving up, because I've come so far and been given so much and been protected that I would know I would be doing a disservice not only to me but to a lot. And in kind of like there's just something inside of me that like I will keep going or I'll die. Like it won't, like there's no giving up, like in the sense of like it is, I know what I'm fighting for, and like I know they win if I ever stop or give up. So, but that stuff.
Well, I'm really glad to
yeah.
hear that, as a fan, as somebody who looks up to you for the inspiration myself, because I mean, again, most people have that thought, geez, why do I keep bothering?
Yeah.
And to hear somebody like you with everything you go through, again, the inspiration, man.
Thank
you. Keep fighting. So I thank you for all that you do, and like I said, man, I look forward to seeing you get back to 100 and see where you go with this, because unlimited energy, as your straps used to say.
Oh, brother, thank you so much, John, and I look forward to having you back on, and you have a great day.
Absolutely, man. Stay blessed.
Take care.
You as well.
Good deal. Thank you, John. Always a pleasure getting to talk to you. Very positive individual, man. It's always the two people that overcome real struggles or real adversity at various points of life, man. You just have a different perspective than others. The people that have accomplished some of the greatest things in this world have had to overcome the greatest adversity with that. And that's why sometimes, it's all the power of being hungry. That's why I talk to you guys. And I tell people it either can come from things that happen in our lives, or we have to create a situation. Sometimes it takes people meeting the love of their life, or meeting somebody that inspires them to fight for something even more than themselves. It takes sometimes people having kids to that. It takes something, family members, something. It takes something internally, or you can have different things or setbacks or injuries, these things that happen to you that you either, where most people either give up and crumble, but in a select portion of us, we take that and it makes us push harder and want more. And we take the negative and turn it into a positive. And we all have that ability. It's not always that easy. And I understand that, but it's this world is, we're born and we die, and life is all about trying. And if we give up, we're done. I can tell you that much. And I want, as long as I'm alive, breathing air on this planet, I want this life to be as good as possible with it, because I've been without much before on here, and like life is much better when things are going good with that. And love and happiness are two things that we all have access to, that with the right mindset, and that are the most important things in the world. So, but that's appreciate you, John. Very, very good guy. Bay Area gaming. I'm going to bring on, let me Bay Area before I bring you on. 1 second, brother. I'm going to mute you real quick. I got to get to a super chat. Rex Gardner, thank you. Hey, Ryback, you're on a boat. Very important super chat, I have a feeling. Hey, Ryback, you're on a boat. You have to toss one into the ocean. Who is it? 1 Kane, 2 Undertaker, 3 Big Show, 4 Orlando Jordan. This is the most random. Oh, man. All right, so here's the deal. And I like Big Show a lot, but I feel like he's so big and massive that he will scare away all the other, any sharks or anything, that he is, even though he's going to be underwater, and this can go either way. They may look at it and he may look more appetizing as well. But I think they would be more scared if a giant 7-foot Big Show in the ocean. But I don't have a lot. How long is he out there for? I feel like, though, if you're just saying I have to dump one in the ocean, and like we're in like the middle of the ocean where like there's no odds, or like is it close enough where they can swim back to shore? I wouldn't want to dump anybody into the ocean. I think that's a horrible question to ask somebody. But I do think the Big Show has the greatest chance for survival, if possible. That's assuming he could swim. He's a very large individual. I I can tell you though, I've met Orlando Jordan too, because that was the only one I had ever wrestled with, though he wasn't up there. But he was up there on the part of the cabinet, JBL's cabinet, when I was on Tough Enough. So I have met him with that. So it wouldn't be I just feel like I wouldn't want to throw anybody into the ocean with that, but Big Show would have the greatest chance of survival. And I like the Big Show a lot. That's a horrible. That's the weirdest 4 people, though. I like Undertaker, Kane, Big Show. You kind of, they're these giants, and then you put Orlando Jordan. Like I can understand. Like I wish you would have given me somebody else, another giant. You know, like the Giant Gonzalez. I would go. Oh, I'll throw Giant Gonzalez because I've never met him before. Random question. Gotta love those super chats. I better not get a text from Big Show. Somebody's gonna be put on the dirt sheets. Ryback says he'll throw Big Show into the ocean, and he'll read it and get mad at me. No, it's because I thought you could survive, because I'm saying you're the toughest. I got to bring you back on, Bay Area. I'm bringing you back on now, bud. I invited you to speak. Maybe I hope I didn't kick him off. I didn't. Bay Area Gaming. I did not kick you up. There we go. Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
Not much. How you doing today?
Doing all right. Last time we spoke, I was just recovering from the deviated septum, and this is day 6 now of that ever since that surgery.
How you feeling?
Feeling good. You know, I remember getting back to the hospital, and I was so messed up on anesthesia. Man, that was wild.
Oh, that stuff definitely will get you. I love the feeling, though. I'm telling you, people that have all my stem cell procedures and any surgery I've ever had, my favorite, and I'll tell you, my favorite time ever was when WWE sent me to Philadelphia, and I had to get my groin. I had the 2 core muscle tears. This was a very painful surgery right above my deal, like on my low abdomen, like literally. It was, 2 huge tears down there from wrestling. One happened, and then over a course of 7 months, the other side tore because it's pulling on your from groin strains, and one of the most painful injuries ever. But they had to send me down there, and I was waiting before the surgery. Oh, they took care of me so good. They had me all set up, ready to go. The IV in. And the nurses came in, and I was able to sweet talk the nurses into giving me that Michael Jackson cocktail, the whatever it was, was it not morphine? It was the white, somebody at Profanol, somebody's going to know it in here in the chat. What's the name of the stuff they give you? Anyways, it's the cocktail they give you to get you loopy before. They gave me a dose of it. And I actually cut the promo. I've talked about this. I did a promo and put it on YouTube. I had a girl there with me that had to come accompany me, a friend of mine. And she recorded, I cut a promo. I was so drugged up. I cut a 1-take promo on like me and Babe Ruth being friends and like how I was coming back to wrestling. I have no recollection. Like, I just remember like they gave me the drugs, and then I go, I want to cut a promo, and she recorded me. And like I cut a completely drugged up promo, and then like that was it. Then they took me back there shortly thereafter. But there's no better feeling than that cocktail that they give you before, and then the anesthesia. Like I always would like to play a game with myself when you're in the surgery room, and it looks like you're like and you just see all like the crazy stuff, and you're in there, and you're all hooked up to everything. And then they're like, all right, anesthesia time, and they go to put the mask on. I always try to say, oh, I'm going to fight this as long as I can, and I'm out all the time right away. But it's a great feeling. Like and then you wake up in complete misery, but those few seconds before are pure heaven.
Yep. I got to say, man, things other than the surgery, man, my back's been killing me, man, like all the time. And I'm only 23.
You got to walk more, man. You know, one of the big things a lot of people, brother, is just being more active, going for a couple walks a day. 10, 15-minute walks will make a huge difference on pain. Because we sometimes are just sit still too long, and like even me, after I do this show and stuff, I just get up and I'll go outside with the dogs and I do a little stretch routine and loosen up. I always just try to keep moving. It really helps after periods of inactivity. But like when you're hurting stuff too, you know, and lying down all day or having to sit on the couch and just recover, it helps just to get up and just to go for a little walk, even just wherever, even to go out front or out back or wherever you can, just move around a little bit.
Right. I definitely agree with that. I was actually on a walk yesterday, so trying to get my muscles all together. Man. So, oh, you were saying?
No, go ahead. I was going to say if you had any questions or anything today.
Yeah. When you started training in pro wrestling, right? Because I train at East Bay, right?
Yep.
East Bay Pro Wrestling. Where did you start training at?
Deep South Wrestling. I came in from WWE from Tough Enough. So they sent me to Deep South, the developmental program, then to Ohio Valley Wrestling, and then re-signed to Florida Championship Wrestling before NXT and then the main roster.
Man, I wish I was there for the FCW days.
Yeah, those, man, it was a good time. FCW was a really well-run organization by Steve Kern, Dusty Rhodes, Dr. Tom Pritchard, Norman Smiley. Man, they had a hell of a training staff down there, and that was before things got too big. Like that to me was FCW was night and day from Deep South Wrestling to OVW. Even though OVW had TV and was well run as well, FCW was just on a much bigger scale, and like it was much more. And like Dusty being down there, they had more agents came down, more producers, more. It was more, and then like obviously NXT now, and the guys, you know. I can't even imagine, man. Imagine having Shawn Michaels around. Like that's like you couldn't ask for a better situation and then all the people, they have all the training rings and the weight training facility and the rehab facility. It's just they've just continued to step it up and gets better and gets better and gets better, and it's going to continue to get better with all of that. But FCW was where that stuff all really started coming together. It was all the developmentals. It was like all that it was an evolution to getting it to what it got to. So I've literally been in all of them. It's crazy seeing where it came from and to what it is. And so they've done a great job on that end.
You know, where I'm from in Northern Cali, we got 3 training academies in Northern Cali. That would be SPW, Supreme Pro Wrestling. That's where Brian Cage and John Morrison trained at.
Okay.
And then we got East Bay, which is in Pacheco, East Bay Pro Wrestling. I don't know who's trained there. That's famous. And then we got Phoenix Pro Wrestling in Petaluma.
Good deal. Yeah, I'm not familiar with any of those over there. I think I've heard of the first one, but
SPW.
Yeah, but I'm not. I mean, I don't live there, so I don't. I just feel like I've heard of that one, but I couldn't tell you.
Right. Okay. So I got another question for you. Do you still go to the WrestleCon fan meetups?
I did this last year. That was my first year back since 2018 with that. So
those were, I'm sure for you, those were the WWE era for you, man. Like those were the days, just being, you know, even being at WrestleCon and all that. Man, I wonder what traveling was like. Because that's one of the reasons I'm trying to become a pro wrestler is like, you know, free travel. Like, who wouldn't want to wrestle for New Japan Pro Wrestling? Who wouldn't want to wrestle for, you know, AEW or Ring of Honor, you know?
Well, depending on a lot of people, depending on if you want to make money or not. I think it's, or depending on where like you want to go or if you want to be away from home. I think that just all depends on where you're at in life and what is appealing to you or not. But everyone has their own preference on all of that stuff.
Right.
But brother, I'm going to get on another caller on here to keep things moving. And I hope your nose continues to heal and we'll get you back on here.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Always. I appreciate you. Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you. Good deal. Thank you. Thank you. Just trying to keep it moving along. I try to get some new callers. Everybody on TikTok, greatly appreciated for the love and support over there. If you want to join the show, come at Ryback on Twitter Spaces, on Twitter X Spaces. Guys, follow me. You can create an account or hit that request to speak if you want to come on the show. Call in live anytime, Monday through Friday, guys. We're usually on between 9 and 10 a.m. going live. We'll bring in Hustlin' Trudeau. Hello, hello. Welcome to the Ryback Show. Super chat. Did I ever have any interactions with an AD Pre?
Hey.
I have. Hey, buddy, how you doing today?
Good, man. How about yourself?
Doing well, thank you. Give me 1 second. I'm answering this super chat real quick. Let me give you 1 second.
Oh, for sure.
Somebody asked me if I've ever had any interaction with Rene Dupree. Yes, he used to live across the street in Louisville, Kentucky, actually, and talked to him quite often down there when he was, I think, off of the road, and I was down at OVW. Great guy, though. Always got along and always liked him. Okay, sorry. What's on your mind today?
Hey, not much, man. I'm just, first of all, I want to say big fan, not only of the sport, but yourself and what you're doing for the sport, or what your main prerogative is, what you're, trying to get out there, which is great. I think it's awesome. There's been a lot of talk about your dream match with Goldberg. I have a question for you. When you were coming up in wrestling, because you came up in 2010, correct?
Nexus was around, 2010 period. Then Ryback 2012.
So then you probably just missed the Umaga era. Did you ever get the chance to meet Umaga?
That was prior to me, and I was released. I don't believe I got to, or if I did, I don't. I don't believe I did. I believe I was away during the Umaga era. I remember watching him at our buddies in Louisville, Kentucky, while I was released. I hadn't been resigned yet. And we were at one of the guys' house watching WrestleMania, and it was that one in Orlando, and it was Batista and Umaga at WrestleMania. And I just remember watching that match, but that was when I was not with the company. I always liked him a lot, man. I always thought he could have had a great run with the title, and he had that. I thought they could have. I wish they would have let the character with Armando. I wish they would have let it peak with him winning the championship and eventually letting Cena beat him for it. I thought it I don't know, just the timing. I always hate when they let Cena take him out before he got the title, and it would have been so much more if he had a title reign and then dropped it back to Cena, even if it was just 2 or 3 months. But
no, you know what? I think that stuff sometimes too. When I think about the old days, I'm a bit older. I'm 39, so I came up in the heyday. You know what I mean? And the wild time and the wild era. And I just think of those things a lot. I'm like, man, it's like these good wrestlers that have performed amazing, have huge fan bases, obviously know what they're doing, and they just don't get the chance that they deserve. And I just think that's not fair, man. But the reason I asked is I'm a huge Umaga fan, and I was gonna ask if you have you seen anything going on with his son lately? He's coming up in Reality of Wrestling with Booker. Have you heard anything about him?
I recently just saw something, an interview that, and I go, oh, that's very cool. He's gonna do very well, probably though. No doubt.
I was going to ask if you had seen any of his work.
I haven't yet, but I'll watch.
Man, he reminds me a lot of Umaga, and when he makes his way up to the WWE, which is inevitable, man, is it going to be some shit? I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no, I believe it. They all, man, they that's in their blood, man. And they're raised with it, and they all have a really good work ethic, and I have no doubt that he's going to be successful. So. And he's getting a good education going through and stuff. So I'm sure we're all going to be seeing a lot more of him as he keeps getting some momentum.
Yeah. No, I had to ask that because I wasn't sure. I knew the timeline of you being on WWE and Umaga was close, but I wasn't sure, man. I think that would have been a really good match too, for sure.
Brother, I would have loved,
both extremely big guys, and you guys both have really intense styles, and I just think it would have been super, super good to watch, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I would have loved it, brother. I'm glad I've been in the ring with the Usos and Roman, and man, those guys, they're all fantastic. And too, Rikishi's always been really cool with me and always very complimentary. I get along very well with the Samoans, so they're
one more question about them then. What is your view on the possibility of Rikishi coming back?
Oh, I think it would be a great thing. I haven't heard it. What's the word on that? I haven't heard anything.
Well, people are saying that they think that there's a possibility of him coming back because there's the divide with the bloodline right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's like, this is all speculation, obviously, but I just think like sometimes you hear those speculations and it just kind of gets your gears grinding like, ooh, that might be something that would be really cool. Like, why can't they like, if I thought of that, how come Vince and them ain't thinking of that? Like Rikishi come in and like, you know, the divide of the bloodline, maybe Rikishi and the Usos versus, you know, Solo. And yeah, I think that would be crazy. I just think that would be so cool to have, and I see what they're doing at SummerSlam with the with the new match coming up. That's going to be intense, man. And I just think that's a crazy storyline. And I think if Rikishi came back, and maybe even just as a manager role, or like a you know, a higher up or whatever you call it, right? Like somebody that would, you know, the mouthpiece per se, but maybe a little more, you know, hands on, right? But
yeah, you know what would be actually, now that you're talking, and what would be a real swerve is if Rikishi came back at SummerSlam and helped Roman retain the title.
That would be wild.
And then tell his kids to fall in line, and Roman and Heyman get a hold of Rikishi and his sons, and he betrays his sons with that to fall back in line.
You know what?
That would be that if I'm in that creative move, I at least pitch that.
Yeah, because I see where you're coming with that, because it would be like almost like a put the kid over the knee and spank him. Like, look at, what are you doing out here? You're making a fool of yourself. Like, I get it. You guys are very popular. You guys are very, very tough. You guys are smart kids. But look at Roman. You know what I mean? It's very inevitable that he's at the top of the tree right now. And
don't bite the hand that feeds you, and that you have families to take care of. And yeah, and that Roman, I'm telling you that they can keep it going all the way to Mania. I wouldn't be shocked. So we'll have to wait and see, though.
Yeah. But see, and that's the reason I say that is because I feel like there's just so much in the Samoan dynasty that they could, so many pieces they could just put in there at any time, and it would just go perfect, because just like like you said, every one of them are just so good at what they do. They're just so, it's in them that I just feel like any person from that family could be plucked up and stuck in that storyline right now, and I think it would fucking slap. I think it would go great.
Brother, I agree with you.
The thing has been on my mind. Yeah.
I love it. Well, buddy, I'll have you back on again. I appreciate good questions and insight, and I hope you have a great day.
Yeah. You too, man. I hope you do too, and good luck with this Chase shit, man, for sure.
Thank you, brother.
Wait to hear the outcome.
Thank you.
For sure, man. Take care, brother. Have a good day.
Thank you too. Awesome. Good insight on that. We'll have to see. We'll see what happens at SummerSlam. Do another caller here, maybe one more caller for the day. Get our man Gary on. Bring on Gary. Gary, welcome back to the Ryback Show, brother.
Thank you. I want to start where that guy left off. So the Usos are great, but if you take away the super kick, I don't even know if they're as famous as they are, even though I like them. Like they don't have a physical presence. Same thing with those AEW guys, those guys who are the famous tag team. If you take away that super kick, I think like if you had the super kick, you give the super kick to anyone, you get over with it. Like Kevin Owens uses it. I just feel like anyone can get over with that fucking move. What do you think?
So I've wrestled the Usos. They are stars. I've seen them from the moment they debuted, and they've got enough other stuff that obviously the kick is part of the deal. But they have enough, and they've really. I have a lot of respect for those guys. I've seen them and the amount of work that they put in, and I've been in I've wrestled these guys a lot, and man, brother, they're smooth out there, and their personalities with the bloodline has got to come out a lot more, because they've gotten more opportunities to speak. Where when they first came in. If you remember, they came in, and I remember they had them like wearing they were wearing whatever clothes they wore. It was really, they didn't have an identity, and they were really over with the Usos when they had the face paint and all that. And then brother, they changed up their look, and they kind of went the other direction, and they got even more over, which isn't easy to do. And then they changed it up again. They went to the bloodline, and they got even more over. I really think they've had very, very successful careers that even like if you take out that super kick, they're talented enough, they would just come up with something else. With that, I'm telling you, they're very, brother. They love the business. They're very nice guys, and they work really hard. And they've worked, you know, they've made some mistakes along the way, as everyone, in different things. But they're good. Like they're good for the locker room. They're funny. Like I get along with those guys great. Like both of them with that. So I can't say enough good things about them from personal experience.
Okay, so then here's my next question then. If you took Roman and the Usos out of the WWF and you put them in AEW, like, would WWF even have anything going? Because I feel like that's really been the main thing with them for the last couple of years.
They would plug it would, they would something else would step up. Now it may not be as good, but also you got to understand though so like say Roman and the Usos, just say they disappeared, they were gone, just starting right now. With that, WWE would shift everything to LA Knight, or they would do something. They were like, all right, that's probably realistically what they would go. We got to create another star, or they would pull the trigger on Cody, or they would try to figure out another big storyline. My guess was if Roman and the Usos were gone from WWE today, LA Knight would then become involved in a major storyline of sorts. And it would probably be to get the title on him, or to what angle can they do, to what adversity can they create, conflict could they create for LA Knight, which, by the way, even with Roman and them there, I think that's going to be the challenge. If with LA Knight, like if you're a baby face or you're getting over, you need to be able to have something to overcome. And I am curious to see if they are going to do anything with him, what that adversity could be for LA Knight. I was thinking about this from a creative standpoint. It would be pretty cool if Cody actually defeated Brock, if they were able to do this, but LA Knight was going to get a title shot with Roman, and they in the next few months they start pitching this angle. LA Knight's getting really hot. I would like to see an insecure Cody take out LA Knight then he could feud Cody and LA Knight. But that would be if you're going to pull the trigger on LA Knight. But you need something like, I would like to see an insecurity angle, because this is a real thing in the company, that with the new guy getting hot, that some of the other guys are past top guys, or guys that aren't, start very insecure, and like he needs some adversity to overcome on TV with that, to getting more and more over. Like you can't just have him coming out and interrupting, Hit Row or whatever. He needs some real controversy if they're going to elevate him. And I was thinking about that. I don't know what they're going to be able to present in front of him, but that is going to be a challenge.
His wrestling I watched him in Impact, and I thought that was his best character ever. He always calling people dummies, but I feel like with him and Cody, it's kind of what you were talking about before. Like Vince is a fucker, and he's never going to let someone who made themselves somewhere else, like come in there and get the glory. They all have to be like WWE born and bred boys to
You're a smart guy, Gary, and I'll be shocked if I'm wrong on the Cody thing. I'll be shocked. That if they
that's why they're fucking both those guys over, because both those guys have enough right now to, like, if Roman wants to leave, let him leave and go to Hollywood, which is fine. If he has Danny Garcia, which is The Rock's agent, which was his ex-wife, the difference between Hulk Hogan and The Rock was Danny Garcia. Hulk Hogan had the ability to be a billionaire. He just didn't have the smart woman. The Rock has the smart woman. That's his agent. That's why he's worth $800 million.
Yeah. Oh, oftentimes, your partner can make or break you on all that stuff with that. And it seems like, I think that says a lot to how smart she is, because even though they're not together anymore, she still represents him and works with him. He didn't cut that tie off. You know what I mean? A lot of people, if they get divorced, they cut ties altogether. They stayed business partners because they knew what they had on that. And so,
She runs the Under Armour for him. She runs the energy drink. And I tried that energy drink, and I only like one ever. And that one, I thought it wasn't that bad. I tried it at Costco. I was like, fuck, okay. This lady knows what she's doing. It wasn't that bad.
There's definitely the brand that he's put together, and the momentum that he has is he's by far been the most successful pro wrestler in the history ever. And I don't know if it will ever be matched with what he's. If it goes south, it's going to be because of the XFL. We'll have to see.
Well, so I think that she bought that just to fuck with Vince, because the daughter's in NXT, and that might be her, like, I think she's super smart. I think she told him, hey, like, we're going to take this from this guy so he can't fuck with our daughter or you. Because it never comes back. And if anyone would come back for the bloodline, that's the fucking guy that's going to do the run-in and fucking cause the title to fucking change hands, if you ask me. But there's something. She's keeping him away from there for some reason, and I don't know. I'm surprised. That's why I'm surprised the daughter's in NXT. But again, she owns that guy's fucking football league, so... You know, there's something there that he.
Rock had his issues with Vince as well over his trademarks, and they gave him a hard time. People don't understand. It's all when you're dealing with power and money, and when I saw that he was going to buy the XFL, and like there's always something going on behind the scenes. So
yeah. So okay. So now the next question would be, do you know anyone that knows her where you could have a conversation with her?
With Danny Garcia?
Yeah, because she was representing that Henry Cavill guy, and he blew up, and then he fucked that relationship up. That's why we're not going to hear from him probably too much anymore. But, I mean, she might be able to open a lot of different doors with the business aspects or
absolutely
increase your brand.
Yeah, I think that's something right now. I think the goal is just to get cleared and to get back. And, like, I've got everything in line with that, and like this whole Stalker situation, get this wrapped up, and the main priority is going to get the Goldberg match. If I get that and I'm able to come back, everything starts kind of taking care of itself from there with that.
The funniest thing about that guy was he was messing with me. I was just laughing about it, but he doesn't understand the motivational stuff, because I think he spoke that feed me more CO, you know what, into existence for himself.
As far as who's that?
Saying that on your thing?
What's that?
I said he might have spoken that "feed me more" COCK.
Yeah, brother. He's.
He doesn't understand that. If you think of the shit, it's gonna happen.
I don't know what was going through his head and it's done. That's why, and I knew when the things that he was saying and how long this was and why he chose to reveal all that, he literally dug his own grave live on the show. And then. Like I said, with the FBI, he confessed to everything. So it's like for him to then to go create hundreds of accounts afterwards and continue to harass and then come on the show and try to use a voice changer and where they're able to track him. Like, I don't think he comprehends that this was all ongoing and they're just watching him. They would I'm getting this, and here he literally made it as easy as possible. And it's over. So, and like the fact that anyone was questioning any of this, they can go fuck themselves. Like, I'm over it with it. I was like, I've been so patient waiting 5 weeks for this. I couldn't wait. Today is a beautiful fucking day that this is starting. So,
yeah, he made so many accounts and he would message me or friend request me, and I just tell him, like, I know it's you. I'm smarter than you. You know, like, I'm not
who's a fucking loser. Who does this? He not only is harassing me, he's harassing my followers. This guy has nothing going on in life. It's completely done. So, like, I'm doing the world a service by getting him in locked up and hopefully for 15 fucking years. I hope to God that this is. I'll do everything I can to make sure we can express how serious this is.
A prison guard promo code, I think, is in the future for any prison guards that work wherever a certain person is.
I should run a big promotion today when I get off of this. That for his, I want to wait till we get the arrest. I got the mugshot and run a big special for him and make even more money off of him to piss him off a little more.
You could sponsor like fucking inmates in his fucking deck and his level and stuff. Like, you do some crazy shit.
I'm gonna get the inmate. I'm gonna go visit him, and I'm gonna get one of those old school super soaker guns, and I'm just gonna load it up full of my fucking protein powder and just fucking for all the shit that he's taught, and just douse him with vanilla mocha fucking protein, ISO hungry protein powder in his fucking cell.
I would just think it'd be hilarious if you gave everyone like free supplements in that prison, even like the prisoners that he has to fight. So he has to look at this shit like every day, and then they're gonna hate him even more. Like, oh god, it could go so many different ways if you really wanted to be petty and negative. You know, it can go a lot of different ways for that guy with you. He's stupid.
Yeah. So, but with the truth always wins. I tell people with all of it. So it's. I'm looking forward to getting this all over with so we can keep moving forward. I got much more important, bigger things to take care of. So,
yeah,
but my family is my number one priority. They got to be taken care of. And I had to take some fucking trash out. So,
Are we going to come up with any more different supplements in the future? Are you looking into anything?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more I wanted to, but right now, everything is like the goal is to get this Goldberg match and get back after and get this guy locked up. And because and then even like once I talk to Bill here and we can figure out what's going to happen here, even if it's a no, like I don't care, I'll be fine. There's going to be other options with my agent, and it's going to be working on the other things. And so like the return is the number one goal with all of this, and then putting like obviously putting more into this and making this bigger. And I want to get distribution. I want to be in the stores and the GNCs, and everything is in place now to scale this really rapidly. So it's like, yeah. I'm just now though, it's like the goal's always been to get back, and I'm just getting closer and closer. Like I'm back in the 295 range. Like I'm very, like everything is getting closer and closer. So it's just a matter of this thing with the Chase thing, kind of 5-6 weeks, whatever the fuck it's been, has been a little bit of a frustration because I've had to be very patient and let this play out with that. But I got to make sure we get him locked up and fucking taken care of, and then that's going to be out of the equation, and then we can keep moving forward. So.
Well, good, man. I'm happy about the news today. That's why I wanted to hop on. So I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to hop off.
All right, brother.
Taking the time to
always a pleasure, and you have a great one, Gary.
Okay, thanks. See ya. Bye.
Take care. Good deal. Thank you very much, Gary. Always a pleasure to talk to you, buddy. With that, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's show. I've got a lot I've got to take care of. I got to make a few phone calls as well with everything, get a little more information on what's going to be going on and the process. I will be keeping you guys up to date now that we've got this out of the way. It's been official for the people. And again, for the people that are just joining us, I'll be putting out a tweet on this as well. But it has been put in, an arrest warrant has been put in for aggravated stalking. It's been completed and processed for submittal to the district attorney's office for Brandon Chase Salehi. So the minimum sentence for aggravated stalking in Nevada is 2 years. The maximum sentence is 15. With this, the sergeant has been working on this as well. He understands the severity of this situation with Chase being here and scoping out things, and his literally admitting to all of this and to the FBI and wanting to kill me and my family and torture them and saying if I ever leave. So they are going to be fighting to get the maximum sentence with him. I'll have to wait and see. I've given them all the information. The FBI, there was an investigation whether they were going to file federal charges or let the state charges. The federal charges would have taken a lot longer, and the state charges are more severe and much quicker. So they want to get this guy, get him extradited, get him locked up, get him hopefully maximum time, hopefully 15 years here in Nevada State Prison on that. And you fuck around, you're going to find out with things. And I told you, and I told you, and I told you, and I told you, and you're a fucking idiot with it. And you're going to get what you deserve, and you're not going to survive in there with that. I'm telling you with it. And you're a worthless loser. And I hope you try to run or you fucking kill yourself, brother. Do the world a service and take yourself out before they arrest you with it. And I know you cried to the FBI that I told him, he told me to go kill myself. You're damn right I fucking did with it. And you're lucky I didn't do it. And if you ever come anywhere around here, I'll be the one that fucking does it. And I'll fucking empty every fucking clip. Your body will not be recognizable when I'm fucking done with you. Do you understand me? And I'm going to come visit you, and I'm going to get alone time with you. So you enjoy your final Ryback show whenever that is, because they're coming. We're going to get you extradited, and your ass is fucking done. You pathetic fucking loser. Fuck around and find out. Ryback rules, bitch. With that, guys, thank you very much. Check out Feed Me More Nutrition, feedmemore.com. We're going to be having a special discount available with the great news coming in with everything for this little bitch's arrest. And keep moving forward. We're going to get Goldberg. Now we can fucking get this out of the way. We'll get fucking this bill thing fucking all fucking situated and get this return fucking underway once and for all. And with that, guys, we'll be back again tomorrow for the Ryback show. Go leave those iTunes reviews. Subscribe on the audio if you haven't already. Until next time, my friends, stay hungry. Feed me more.
Hey, Rybackers, don't forget to hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and shell shock those notifications. For the best supplements on the planet with Feed Me More Nutrition and all the latest cool new Ryback merch, visit feedmemore.com.